Lee, so do you want to just give the bad news as to why we weren't here last week?
Yeah, I done goofed. I made a mistake. I was running out of storage on my Mac, which has been an ongoing issue for me. I live day to day, like 10 gigs to 10 gigs.
You run on empty.
Yeah, like I'm using, the new storage every day that I'm clearing the day before.
You know what it's like with you? It's like you have like 20 kilometers of gas left in your tank, and you let it go to 1, stop at the gas station, but then just fill it to 20 kilometers. Again, that's what you're like every day.
Yeah, not healthy. I watched a funny TikTok about kids that grew up with trauma or something, and how because all those negative stress hormones they like had during adolescence, as adults they're like addicted to those stress hormones, so they only know how to function in them. So they just like constantly create chaos for themselves. I'm not going to self-diagnose or anything, but
Yeah.
I definitely saw some red flags.
Yeah, it definitely makes sense.
Speaking of red flags, do you guys want to hear my auto-tune piece?
Yeah.
And
how does that connect to
Red flags.
because the content in it is just like me being goofy. I'm just joking.
Oh.
Okay. Do you want to send me the file? Because I can actually play it for the podcast.
Yeah, I was gonna send it in the FFP DMs. The first 2 are Gary V themed, so we'll include those in the episode. The rest are little inside jokes to The Office, so we'll probably not.
You have so much time, Lewis. So much time.
I said he should post those on TikTok.
So anyone that listens to the podcast knows that Storm loves autotune. So today, when I was up in the studio setting him up for a client recording, I just turned on the autotune. Didn't expect all this content to come out of it,
Yeah.
but I thought he would have some fun playing around with it.
Expect a lot more.
Yeah. Expect a lot more.
Do you think T-Pain would be proud?
Yes.
I think he would.
He's
too.
taught me everything I know.
Yeah, Storm was like, literally went in there. He's like, I've done so many years of research for this day.
Yeah.
Jack left like 5 minutes early, and I just sang myself "Buy You a Drink."
Did you?
Childhood dream achieved.
That's
It
unreal.
was terrible.
Well, it might not have been in the right key signature. So
True,
next time I'll
true.
set you up right. We'll
We'll
put
get the beat
instrumental
going,
on.
get the snaps going. Yeah.
Yep, and then put the autotune in the right key. You're gonna literally blow your mind.
Yeah.
You'll blow your own mind.
You might be S-Pain.
What?
S-Pain.
S-Pain?
Yeah.
No,
Storm
a
Pain?
little stormy.
Little Stormy.
Stormy.
Storm Kylie
Stormzy.
Jenner took the name Stormy, though.
She
Yeah.
did. Well, her baby did.
Yeah. Well, they did.
Like
because
20 years after me.
You don't assign yourself, your name.
Actually, funny story about it wasn't Kendall or Kylie. One of them changed the name of their baby. It was like Wolf, and they're like, I don't think Wolf's a good name anymore. Like 3 years
Yeah.
later.
Why didn't they think of that when they named the kid Wolf?
Just sometimes it, I don't know.
Because it doesn't take you like 4 months to realize diaper is a bad name.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe something happened. In the
Diaper?
family.
They had like a stroke and
Who
wrote
named
down
the
Wolf.
diaper? Did you say diaper?
Yeah, if someone was like, yeah, you should name your baby diaper, I'd say no, it's a bad name.
Mm.
Isn't
It doesn't
Michael
take me
Jackson
5 months to figure that out.
Michael Jackson's baby named Blanket?
Yeah.
Stupid as fuck.
But also, Wolf, you never know, though. Wolf might have sounded kind of cool at the time, but then they're like, screw it.
But
You
then
know what
see what-
millennial names are like, man? It's like Lewis with a Y instead of an I, you know what I mean? Or
Everyone
it's
wants
like,
unique names now.
yeah.
Yeah. I did it before it was cool.
Me too.
My parents did
Yeah.
it before it was cool.
Yeah.
I kind of want it to be like, yeah. We need
My-
to go back to like Bertha.
Yeah, I should make my birth
Douglas.
certificate an NFT because I'm the only Leewardson ever.
Yeah,
So
you could.
if the name ever
You think
picks
you're the
up,
only one?
I know I'm the only one. You didn't know that?
How do you know you're the only one, you mean?
My dad made the name up from scratch. It's a completely new name.
But what if he lied about that?
No, he didn't. Look it up. I'm the only page on Google for like 40 pages. Like,
You know
it's
what's-
just me.
But
know
what
what's-
if that's because there's no other person with the same amount of clout as you?
I wish that were to be true.
Like there's a Leewardson in Sri Lanka right now that's just like
No, and
digging
here's the
up
thing.
everyone's holes.
So Leewardson's actually English. I mean, it's from Living Word Son. It's kind of like,
Nice.
Emerson, or it's like a,
Yeah.
What's Emerson mean?
Emerson means son of a leader.
Oh, I thought it was going to be like you said.
Yeah, no. So,
Emer's
so
not
that
nothing.
that's how my dad did it. But Emerson is from the leader Emery, something like that. It's like a leader,
Cool.
like a famous leader. But anyway, yeah, I'm a one of one, so maybe I should NFT my name.
I grew up next door to a kid named Thundor. Isn't that weird? Storm and Thundor.
Thundor?
But Thundor's a made-up name too.
You're fucking with me.
No, honestly. And
Thundor.
he's so close to being Thunder, obviously, but
Yeah.
no, Thundor was like made up. Just
Is he younger than you?
yeah.
Yeah, of
By quite a bit.
course. They did that on purpose then.
Yeah, they were like, yo, the neighbors have a kid named Storm.
And then
Should we fucking fuck with him and call our kid Thundor? I think we were trying to talk about how I fucking royally goofed.
Yes, you royally
and
goofed.
I deleted the old file from the last episode. So today is going to be 18.5.
Yes, and thanks to Storm for coming up with that, because I would have just said 19. This is 19.
It
And
feels wrong to skip 18.
yeah.
So 18.5 is a good.
And it would have been good next time because they skipped iPhone 9 and Windows 9. So 19, it would have been funny to skip, but it says 18.
That's a meta joke, though.
No, it's actually a Microsoft joke.
It's actually an Apple joke.
Thank you.
Yeah. Anyway, today we got some stuff. It's Canada Day weekend, so we
Yes,
started the
it is.
podcast a bit early
Or America Day weekend for
for our
America
American
Day.
audience. Yeah. What's it called again? Like Liberty Day or
4th
of July.
Independence Day?
Independence
Yeah.
Day?
We should have just kept coming up with different ones and just get roasted in the comments by Americans.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
What do they call it? Like the first of the Amendment Day?
The Freedom Day. Is it Freedom Day?
Eagle.
Stolen Land Day. The day we announced that they stole the land.
Brits get rich.
Brisket rich. Brisket. That's where brisket
Came from?
came from. It's when they got rich from Brits.
Yep.
18.5 today, everybody.
History. Nothing is real in 18.5. Right now we're like living between the lines.
Yeah.
You know?
We switched over to Jira for everyone who is a project manager at a agency.
It's too niche. Yeah, like today nothing's real, and we've got some awesome topics to talk about. And I feel like all of these topics, kind of funny enough, they fit into this like not real
Yeah.
state. You know, the theme of today's episode is things that just should not be real or
Yeah.
can't be
I
real.
love that.
And we're living in like this weird, separate space and time parallel universe.
And our theme as well is just fuck it.
Yeah. So it was a great transition, Lewis, but we have to do the intro. Fuck what? Welcome to the should we start?
Yeah, let's start.
All right, guys. Well, welcome to the Fast Forward podcast. I'm your co-host, Lee.
And I am your co-host, Lewis, and welcome to the fastest growing podcast in the universe.
And today, we got some awesome stories. We're going to be talking about some rice, some GMO rice, and sex robots.
Yes, and we're also going to be finding out a way where you can actually get paid to listen to this podcast, as well as a common person that we're talking about, aka Google. We'll be talking about them today. And we're going to rewind today, and you're going to have to throw your headphones on for that one.
Ooh.
Yeah, all right.
Throw the headphones on. All right, let's do what's the first story.
Well, the first one is listen to earn, okay? Do you want to learn how you can earn money by listening to this podcast?
I think that's only fair that we pay our podcast listeners to listen to this shit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm sorry that you have to hear this. Here's some money.
People are doing it for free right now,
Listening to us?
I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, Storm's listening. Well, no, Storm's getting paid to be here. hopefully good enough, Storm.
Listen to our podcast, gets paid to listen to our podcast. This is not worth it.
Storm is like, I want to renegotiate my contract right here on the podcast. I want a crowdsourced contract. So, listen to earn. So, Fountain, that's the company called, is a new way to earn money by listening to podcasts. Okay, let's hear about it. Does it sound too good to be true? Well, listen up. Here's how it works. You earn small amounts of Bitcoin called sats that are stored in your wallets. I know everyone listening is probably like, that's the catch. There are 100 million sats in one Bitcoin. The more you contribute to the app, the more sats you earn. So you can like create clips, kind of like if you are watching like a YouTube video and you know how you can like clip it and make a short out of it. They do that on Twitch as well. If you're aware of that on, if you're a listener. Supporting podcasts, so like contributing financially to it, you can actually earn sats as well. And then engaging with content from other users. So if you watched a clip that I created from a podcast, I would earn some sats from that. Now, something that Storm and I kind of questioned when we first initially saw this. I was like, how do you make money? Like, couldn't I just hit the play button and walk away? Well, you're capped at a daily limit of the number of hours of podcasts you can listen to and still earn. So once that is depleted, you have to come back tomorrow. Kind of like, excuse me, like some of those games you play, like Simpsons Tapped Out or something, or Clash of Clans where you have to like wait 24 hours before you can open a chest or something.
Oh yeah.
So it kind of works similar to that way.
Bring them back every day
Yeah.
to try to maximize their limit. So
Lee, I got a question for you.
Go ahead.
Unless you have something to say
Well,
beforehand.
I was just gonna say there's 100 million sats in a Bitcoin,
Correct.
and a Bitcoin costs 20 grand or give or take right now.
Yeah.
That's $0.000.
Yeah.
It's like a fraction of a penny.
Oh, for sure. Well, I mean that's kind of where I was going
What's
to
the
ask,
fucking
right?
What's the fucking point?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Is
Well, you're not going to get one sat each time. Sat's short for Satoshi, by the way.
Oh, so how many satoshis will they give you per?
Probably a few more. I'm guessing a little
Yeah.
more.
Like 10.
I don't know.
100.
But
Probably.
is paying people with crypto a sustainable business model? I mean, I'm just trying to.
Where do they get the money from to pay the people that are listening to the podcast?
And this is
It's
what's
like the never-ending question with these NFT and
Yeah.
crypto projects. It's like, where's the money coming from?
it's
Just
literally
be another
hilarious.
marketing budget. Just another marketing.
Yeah.
Like that's how they attract
Expenditure.
people in, sure. But then how
Yeah.
do they make money? Are they selling a subscription too, to listen to the stuff?
I don't know. I mean,
Like every business needs to spend on marketing,
for
but like
sure.
every business also needs to make money somehow.
The advertisers that they have on the podcast.
So they do have advertisers on the podcast.
It can be anybody's podcast.
Oh,
We can be on
okay.
there if we want.
But at the
So,
same time,
I
too, is
see.
that goes directly to the podcast person, right? Not the platform.
Yeah, but maybe they advertise. They have like a free version where they run ads.
Mm.
Maybe.
I don't see any. Let me go on the download on the App Store. And
But if
see
we
they-
wanted to make content that we're not making ourselves, this is supposed to be a bridge where people can make content from your stuff as well.
yeah,
And you can pay,
Oh.
and you can incentivize them with,
Satoshis.
yeah, and it'll just unlock once they achieve it, right?
yeah,
Achievement unlocked for people to create content about our podcast.
yeah. Well, I mean, it is pretty interesting. Like on Twitch, all the time, people like that's been a feature for so long where you can like clip the last 30 seconds of what you just watched of someone's stream, and then it makes a unique link so you can send it to somebody. So like your oh shit, like I just got an epic victory royale moment on Fortnite. You can like clip it and then post it on the internet. That sometimes those things go viral, right?
Mhm.
So maybe if they have like ads before that, like a 5-second ad, it'd be a cool, interesting way.
Joe Pompliano is where we got this from, his Pomp letter. And he mentioned that in the past he's experimented with sharing ad revenue with the audience, but there's no good way to do it. Do listeners,
Oh, that's what you're okay. I get
yeah,
it.
do listeners tweet at me and then I Venmo to send them money? Do they have to leave a review in the app and then I email them for wire instructions? So he's basically saying there's like not a good way to share.
It's more the financial part of that. I mean, that makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Like just being able to share in the ad revenue with the customer, and then just an easy way
Yeah.
to do it on the blockchain. I mean, you could also. I mean, it's a bit more work, but I don't know if it's more work than getting a wallet set up. But like, you could also just like add your banking information, and they could direct deposit you.
I think it creates a
Yeah.
wallet for you on Fountain, I believe.
At the same time, though, can't you like infinitely divide a Bitcoin versus like a penny,
Yeah, true.
right? So I guess that's the point. Like you can share up the ownership so much, but it kind of comes back to the same question here, Lee, where like how many times am I going to get paid in Bitcoin? It's a gimmick at this point, right? I don't know. I mean, I think it's kind of cool that they have this clip functionality, but almost like YouTube has it now. People are still uploading it on TikTok. It just like, I find that most people are they're not going to want to share money with their audience. They're just going to want to pocket it themselves, and they can.
Yeah,
So,
I think if it's a good idea, the other platforms will just take it.
Mm.
I do like the idea of the fintech, like the finance side of it, like
Yeah.
making it easy for the company, the platform to pay listeners. I don't know if that's enough for customer acquisition though. I think
No.
I think customer acquisition really comes down to where is the content.
yeah.
Like Spotify paid $100 million or whatever to Joe Rogan to get him exclusively on Spotify.
Do you think that
and-
was a good move?
I think it was a good move. I think it was a great move.
Mm-hmm.
I think Joe Rogan got ripped off.
Do you think he got ripped off?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I did the math on how long his partnership was, and
How long was that?
I forget now. But when I looked at it last time, I was like, oh yeah, like Spotify won the deal because they got exclusive. Like he's exclusive to their platform. He can't grow his YouTube really anymore.
No.
And then he's just like so valuable. So I think I think they definitely got a good deal on him.
Do you know how long it was, Storm? Like that they have Joe Rogan in for? No. Because that would be interesting. Because $100 million in cash, like, and Spotify is the type of company too that they would have a big amount of like cash reserve that they could just.
I'm seeing now it's 200 million. So
200 million.
Yeah, I think it's like not disclosed. People make estimates about it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But either way, absolutely nuts. Absolutely nuts.
So that's how you can make money to listen to our podcast.
Yeah.
Is it live right now? Can people download the app?
Yeah.
And wait, is our podcast published on this platform?
Shouldn't you know? You don't listen to our
I'm
podcast
looking at
enough on
Storm.
Fountain?
Like does Buzzsprout or whatever we use, does it?
I haven't looked into it yet.
Oh, might be worth putting on there.
Yeah. You can be rich by listening to our podcast.
You can get paid Bitcoin to listen to this podcast.
Wow. Well, yeah. Absolutely nuts. Absolutely nuts. Do you know what's also nuts, Lee?
What's nuts?
So Google is paying Wikimedia. What?
Wait, hold on. What's Wikimedia?
Wikipedia's parent company.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So they're not buying it. So Google, what's happening is that Google is paying for like an enterprise subscription to basically access all of Wikipedia like better than any other company could. So beforehand, so Google beforehand was just kind of using the APIs that Wikimedia had in order to use the knowledge panel. So I'll read what I wrote. Currently, Google is using public scrapes of Wikimedia pages or through its public API to be able to fill in the knowledge panel when you search for something. So you know how when you search for something, usually like a public figure or something, it'll show the right side when they like die, like a general.
On Google.
Yeah, on Google.
Yeah,
Like, if I search up like
anybody famous.
Yeah, Joe Biden or something like that. Yeah, it'll show up there. Well, that's all being grabbed from Wikipedia. Everything is grabbed from Wikipedia, which made me think of like, because they're a charity, right? Or a nonprofit, sorry. It makes me really think like, man, they probably get hit the hardest out of almost any website on the internet. And that they're not even making, like, they're a not-for-profit company. It's pretty impressive.
Dude, we talked about how much money they're making on the podcast. They're swimming in it.
How much money
they have? They have massive surplus. They have like a pile of money.
Because they were turning down Bitcoin payments. Remember crypto payments?
So remember I looked into it, and like at the beginning they weren't making that much, but like they raised like a fucking ton of money.
Well, how much was that again?
From memory, like 20 million plus in a single round of fundraising.
Okay, but that's still like not a lot of money, like for their operation.
No, it actually broke down their expenses and how much they raised, and like they have like a buttload of extra cash.
Okay, because like if you think about it, like they probably require an infrastructure similar to Google's, because Google's literally grabbing from them. But I mean, I don't know. Anyway, so when you search for something, that's the knowledge panel that's coming from Wikimedia. So this partnership is most likely going to allow Google to get better results. So you know what Google's like, they always want to make sure their search engine better. So maybe by doing this, that they're getting better results for that knowledge panel, which I already feel like is pretty good. But now here's some interesting thoughts about this partnership. So Wikimedia has said that this partnership, this payment, does not actually contribute a lot to their financial success. So it's not like a huge deal or nothing. But I think a lot of people are worried or thinking about is, do you think Google is harvesting the data that they are constantly collecting from Wikimedia is a way for them to create a replacement system? So a way for them to be able to replace Wikimedia? Or do you think Google will want to work alongside Wikimedia? So do you think they're okay with the current situation they have? Maybe they just want to better their experience for their users.
Is this a conspiracy theory?
Well, yeah, like there's no way that...
Is this your theory, or did you read this?
No, this is my theory right here.
So you think that Google might be trying to steal Wikipedia?
Not like steal necessarily,
like
right?
Steal their data?
No, well, not steal their data. It's mostly like they can use the initial round of data to like seed their version of it, right? So
that sounds like stealing to me. Like if I steal your $100 to like start my investing fund, it's still your $100 I stole to start.
I guess so. Well, I mean, sure, yeah. I mean, but or it's like I don't know. But either way, could they be doing that type of stuff? Or here's another thing, just a little bit of a fun question. What are some other ideas you can think of when it comes to using Wikipedia's knowledge base? So if you had full access to it,
Yeah.
what could you do with it? Like, what can you literally do with almost all the information in the world?
Is there already data about what? Because like you know how you can see Google search trends and stuff.
Yeah.
I wonder if they have public data about what people are looking at on Wikipedia.
Oh, they probably definitely do.
That would be interesting from like marketing and sales and advertising.
But you know what's also interesting as well, though, is that Google Trends, like, I don't know what the metrics are, but most of the time it's taking you to a Wikipedia article, right?
You know what? A history teacher, like an AI history teacher that's like replaces a human history teacher
Yeah.
that's like powered by Wikipedia. That'd
Yeah.
be kind of sick.
Which is like, isn't that hilarious, though, how they told us not to use Wikipedia?
It's so true. They told us that it was a bad source.
Yeah.
And then Wikipedia AI is going to like replace history teachers.
Yeah.
You can just ask the teacher like literally anything. And it's like, yeah, I know exactly what happened.
Yeah.
I just searched on Wikipedia. Is my history teacher a credible source? And it said no. So
You're kidding.
no, just
Okay.
it's coming back.
It says, it
Isn't
like
it-
sends a response. I'm taking their job.
Isn't it just so hilarious how they like literally, they'll literally say, don't go to Wikipedia for your sources. Instead, find some sort of sketchy ass website made by like some like fan of the War of 1812.
And that domain is somehow more, even though it's not peer reviewed, that
Yeah.
domain is now more credible because it doesn't say wikipedia.com.
Yeah.
Man, it's such an example, and like no offense to teachers, but such an example of, you know, growing up, all the information that we should not have taken, you know,
Mhm.
as factual. Like I got told when I was doing marketing, you know, I think I was like 16 or 17, and I was told by like a entrepreneurial like business coaching program, I shouldn't do digital marketing, and that digital was like this fad,
Yeah.
you know, Facebook ads and social media and social media influencers is all cool, but you can't replace radio,
Yeah.
print,
Come
traditional
on. Are you serious?
marketing. And you know what? It's just because like people believe in what they're taught most of the time, and then they
Mhm.
just don't want to change their mind about things.
But
So-
also too is like this is what divides a good teacher and a bad teacher. First, a bad teacher will just kind of like they'll learn. It's almost like instead of being a teacher, they've like settled with the stuff they know. I'll just teach the stuff I know. And because things get outdated so fast, like even history gets outdated fast, right? Because we're still
Yeah.
finding out new stuff. People will just kind of cling on to it, and rather than because learning is hard, they'll just do whatever. It's easy for me to regurgitate everything I know to you 100 times than to like go online, look something up, learn it for myself so I can teach it to you. That's where like the good teachers come in, where they are constantly keeping themselves up to date. Like they're taking their understanding of the past, but applying it to what's new and learning and then teaching it to you.
Yeah. You know what'd be kind of cool? If there was like a tool that like every teacher like woke up to with their like email in a wrap up or whatever,
Yeah.
or like on their computer, part of their software, that just took the things that they teach in their curriculum and then like shows them like changes in the curriculum.
Yeah.
Like just like, hey, like we know that you're a grade 3 science teacher, and just so you're aware, they now found out the mitochondria isn't as mighty as they told you it was.
Yeah.
And then the teacher's like, oh, well, shit. Good to
Yeah.
know. And like that, and just like, and it was that way because it is a lot of information out there. So you couldn't be every kind of teacher at every age,
For sure.
but like a certain category for the age range, and then a certain like category for the subject matter, and then like just giving them like just a few updates a week on how things are changing. Like that could honestly keep
It's like
them
a
more open-minded.
newsletter, like
Yeah.
a teacher newsletter. You enter your information, and then maybe it just gives inspiration, like ways you can like mash up two subjects. So because I'm just because mitochondriac, right? It's like this teacher taught whatever the frick you just said.
I don't even know what I said.
Mitochondria.
Mitochondria.
It's the powerhouse.
The powerhouse of the cell.
Yeah, sure. The
There it is.
cells, right? This is how you can demonstrate it, and then
Gives them some ideas.
Give some ideas.
We
man.
need to
So
empower
true.
teachers with more technology.
That's what it is, man. Everyone's talking about how can we inspire students and inspire teachers.
Yeah. Bro,
You know?
that's some real shit right there.
Yeah, inspire teachers. That's what you gotta freaking do.
Have you guys ever tried to edit a Wikipedia article?
Yeah, many times.
It's like not easy.
No, and
Yeah.
I think teachers at the beginning thought that
That's how it works.
anybody can just change it whenever, and you can for a couple
Yeah.
seconds, right? And then it gets like whatever, you know.
And even
But-
now, you can't even change it for a couple seconds.
No.
oh no way.
So now what happens is it gets reviewed by other people before it gets put in.
Mm.
Dude, the 3 hardest people of all time, okay? Number 3 might have been like Adolf Hitler. He might have been the craziest person ever. Number 2, Winston Churchill winning World War II. Number 1 is Wikipedia moderators, dude. They're some of the hardest people to ever bypass anything. Like literally you'll be like, that source is not good enough. Or like you put a period, it's like that's not a period does not deserve to go there. That should be a comma going into the next sentence.
It's legit.
Like, dude,
It's hard.
they're so hardcore. And like, I respect them, right? Because there's some people online who have like, I'm not even joking, man, have like edited over 50,000 Wikipedia articles.
Do they get paid for this? Or
No, it's all volunteered.
That's fucked.
Like, I think they do have some people on staff who are like
Yeah.
general managers, but some of the biggest contributors of all time are volunteers.
That's nuts.
Dude, that's selflessness right
Yeah,
there.
that's one of the best things you could do with your life is contribute to Wikipedia.
There's some dude on Twitter that was roasting this guy. He was like it was like a news article. It showed the person who was the Wikipedia moderator, and of course he was nerdy looking. He was a bit chubby, right? Like, of course, like that's just what's gonna happen when you're a Wikipedia moderator, right? But the Twitter's like, yeah, that looks like a Wikipedia moderator, and like just trying to clown on the dude. But it's like then he got ratioed on Twitter because it's like, dude, this person like contributed so much knowledge
Yeah.
to the world.
Can't be clowning on people like that.
No, like maybe if he was like I don't know, like a vegan or something, you know.
Yeah. Be
Not
careful.
no vegan hate. I like vegans. Yep. I just wanted to say something. I couldn't think of something.
You know, once upon a time, we got hired to try to create a Wikipedia article, and that's how you know we ran an agency because we've been paid to do just about everything. But yeah, we got hired to do a Wikipedia article, and like we had like submit a bunch of links, and it was like a whole. Did we fail or were we successful?
I think I was successful in doing
Nice,
it. Yeah,
nice.
but they almost flagged it.
And you know what? We paid like $100.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Was it? How many hours did we spend doing?
Like, I don't know, maybe a couple hours.
Okay, so it didn't take
Yeah.
that long.
Well, no.
Okay,
Yeah.
but yeah, so actually, in a way, you've done some Wikipedia contributions.
I have. I've done a bunch. Yeah, actually, so not
Wait,
too bad.
what?
Yeah, I've done a bunch.
How many?
Like maybe like a dozen or something over
Oh,
my life. Yeah, not
nice.
not like a lot, but like whenever like I read Wikipedia all the time at night. I just go through the random articles all the time, and then to just read something new every day. And then sometimes when I see something that needs to be edited, or like I'll just try and edit there on the spot. So yeah,
That's hilarious.
yeah. So speaking of $100, things that you can do for $100. Okay.
I was gonna say biggest boy bands of all time. It had like the Beatles #1, and Lewis is like, nope, BTS to the top of that list.
Yeah.
BTS.
Last thing on that one though, each of you best guess how many articles in English are on Wikipedia.
8 million.
Way more than that. Sorry, I wasn't laughing at you, but it's a low number. I would say like 100 million.
Just as it says 6.5 million
Oh, what?
Yeah, there we go.
Total
read that
articles?
stat
total
somewhere,
articles in
yeah.
English. Yeah,
Yeah, like
In
somewhere.
English.
in English.
Really?
Dude, actually, and I think we talked about this on the podcast, the very first podcast, but who has the most translations out of any single person on Wikipedia?
Oh, we did too.
Yeah.
Oh, I forget about that fact.
Pop quiz. Use code if you get this. Heart out to you.
I can't remember that.
Okay, I'll give you guys a clue. Okay. It used to be a Disney star, but not like a conventional Disney star like a Miley Cyrus or Zac Efron.
I don't know. I forget.
You guys, Corbin Blue,
Oh yeah.
Wait, who's that?
the
jump rope high
the
school
jump
musical
rope
guy.
guy. Yeah, and he had the curly hair, the black dude.
Wait. So he has the most translations?
Out of any he has the most translations in different languages out of any other Wikipedia article that exists.
I wish I remembered that. It's embarrassing that I didn't.
Corbin Blue.
I re-put up my Corbin Blue poster after that.
That's epic.
Yeah.
Insert inappropriate transition.
So, sex robots. Okay. Try and be mature about this because I know this is going to get some giggles out of us. I've written some notes here, Lee. How about I just kind of read my notes and I just get your opinion on it
Sure.
one by one? Okay, so if you open up my notes here too, I have a picture that you guys can see. So,
Guys, it's a totally PG picture.
yes,
It's like
yes,
a
of
headshot.
course. Sorry.
Yeah, you guys can see my notes on sex robots. There's a picture there for you guys to see. It's just a picture of a girl's head.
So this is
I
something.
don't know if that makes it better, to be honest.
Sorry.
It's going well
it's
so
a,
far.
it's a headshot. It's not just a picture of a girl's head, like decapitated or nothing. No. So here it is. Okay. It's already silly. And we haven't even gotten into it.
You literally haven't read your first line, and the giggles have started. But here's the thing: this is a really serious technology that's going to
really
be
is. It's going to be huge.
It's not going to be just huge. It's also going to change. It's going to impact culture in our world. So it's important that we talk about this because it's going to impact everybody.
Well, sex is something that we giggle about because of its obscurity. Like we don't like to talk about it around anyone, right?
Yeah.
But it's very important for every single human being. So I'm just going to go over kind of like where we are at right now with this robot technology. So in 2020, the sex toy market is worth over $30 billion. That's nuts.
Wait, hold on. That's so much money?
$30 billion?
That's stupid.
That's a huge amount of money.
That doesn't even make sense.
Yeah. And then is predicted to go almost $60 billion by 2027. So double that right now. And that's crazy because, again, like, just, I mean, that just seems like a market I'm not too familiar with, right? So the fact that there's just this much money hiding underneath it.
You know what's crazy?
What?
Check this out. So in 2018, 19, so pre-pandemic, the NBA, the best basketball league in the world, generated about $8.76 billion in revenue.
No way.
So sex toys are more than triple.
Yeah, than the NBA.
That's crazy.
That's crazy, isn't it? So currently on the market is extremely early tech when we kind of think of the sex robots, like the idea of that.
The sci-fi picture. Of
Yeah, like what you think of when you see the movies or other movies. So right now, the Geminoid F is considered the world's sexiest robot, according to this article I read, of course. And if you look at the picture, that's the picture of it. It still very much looks like a robot. It's like a, I mean, it's somewhat real life. If I didn't know that was a robot, I could probably be fooled maybe into thinking.
What? She kind of looks like a bitch.
Oh, why?
I don't know. She's just got like a bitch face.
That's a robot face.
Like she looks pissy.
Yeah, well.
My opinion, I don't think she's the sexiest robot, personally.
Well, there you go. So there's another.
Who do you think is the sexiest robot?
I don't know the names, but I've seen sexier robots than this.
So there's another doll, life-size doll called Harmony, and it has a chatbot inside of it. I think we've talked about this before, but it makes it so that it can kind of like blend between the, real world and make it seem like a bit more intimate. I personally would think at the moment chatbot technology is not ready for kind of that kind of conversation. I mean, I guess if you're really lonely. So Real Doll has a customizable personality with spatial awareness and facial recognition and response to touch. So again, when we're talking about that market, Lee, like the market that would truly, truly benefit from these types of dolls. And then this is where I come back to right now. At the moment, they even have sex doll brothels for $100 for €100 an hour. And this could be a very safe way to do this service because, I mean, we all are kind of aware of how prostitution for actual women is a very unsafe place at the moment.
Yeah,
right?
it's a tough industry to work in.
It is, absolutely. It is tough. So that's kind of in terms of, and of course, I'd love to get your opinion on this side of it in terms of kind of like robots specifically designed for men in terms of sex robots. That is kind of like where we are. And I have an interesting story towards women right after this, but I'm interested to hear your thoughts.
Yeah,
Lee.
I think there could be some argument made eventually that there's something wrong about how men have all these sex devices at their disposal and they're not being made for the female market. It's the same reason why, male makeup is, came much later than female makeup, even though it's a thing, I think. Is because there's going to be much more demand. And at the end of the day, guys are extremely sexually charged and clearly have a big, they create a bigger demand for porn, for prostitution, for strip clubs. This is just the reality of our gender and our species. So, I don't.
But hold up here, because I think some of this $30 billion sex toy might come mostly from women.
Yes, but I don't know about. I think here's what I'm saying. is I don't know if women are going to power the innovative stage of this. So I don't think there's, and maybe I'm wrong, but there's another podcast of girls talking about this topic right now.
For sure, yeah.
So the thing is, right now, you talked about it. It's really, really early, the technology.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to, a bunch of people, customers, and I'm saying men, have to be okay with getting crappy product because they're like inspired and excited for this technology to take off, and they just want to get in on it early.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, an Apple fan getting the first Apple Watch. It wasn't very good,
No.
but the idea of like a smart watch is so cool. Like you buy in early, and these are the early adapters, and they fund the innovation moving forward. So right now, sex robots aren't that great, and I think, and again, this is just assumption, most of the customers are men, and they're happy. And this is how the market's been. They will fund this technology like they did with VR porn. This is like how the whole like VR headsets like literally grew on the backs of men playing video games and watching porn.
Oh, for sure.
That's like where that's where the industry got all its money. So I think that's going to be the same thing here. And then once the technology becomes more polished and it's actually effective and it's enjoyable and it's worth the price, I think 100% that both genders in the market will be buying it. I just don't know if that's. I think it's going to be a while before we get there.
I think, and this was a very interesting story here because this also plays into the fact that, like right now, women are more, especially in the Western world, I guess you could say, right, are more sexually liberated than men are, I guess you could say. This is a really interesting story. And again, it doesn't necessarily talk about sex robots, say, but I think this is a very pivotal step to get to that next level. It's more, I guess, okay for women to have sex toys and like they're more open about it than men are about this type of stuff.
That's actually true. It is true.
And it's really awesome. And I think there's a lot of societal norms that are kind of happening as well, especially with toxic masculinity, whatever you want to call it, and then feminism. But I thought this was a really cool story. So Liz Klinger is the CEO of Lioness. It's a smart vibrator and app that uses AI to make your orgasms better. And I just thought, like, that's like crazy to think, because what it is, it's like, so it's a vibrator the shape of like kind of like how most of them are shaped, right? Like in the rabbit way.
Okay.
And it like has sensors on it with.
When you say like a rabbit way, you mean like a carrot?
No, it's like I'm trying to think of like it's.
I don't handle these often.
Yeah, it's like the ones with the one that looks like a dildo shape, I guess you could. But then one has like the has a small end at the top. You know what I'm talking about?
It's like a 2-prong.
Yeah, like it's like kind of like me, when it's the one going like that.
Yeah.
Cool. Had to do that. So there you can opt in to donate your data so that it makes their research even better. Now this is so on the app. I did some research on it. It's pretty insane. Because what you do...
You did some research? You don't have the app?
From what I've used the app. No, but it's actually crazy because what ends up happening is it compares all your data previously to how it is, and it tries to like change the settings on you to make it better every single time.
And here's the thing. Here's my first question. If this thing is gathering data to get better over time, it's one of two things. It's either got some way, the sensors, to somehow track your joy or pleasure, or it's just trying to fucking speed run you and trying to go as fast as possible to climax. And it's like the last 5 times it took us an average of 4 minutes. Mm-hmm. This time we were able to do it in 3.5. So the software has been optimized. And it's like how else is this gonna work?
Well, it might have a questionnaire afterwards, maybe. Like it might have, with it similar to how like a mood tracking app works, because like you could argue like, you worked less today, so therefore you're just as happy, like you're happier today than you were yesterday. But that might not necessarily be true, right?
Questioning would be hard because you wouldn't know if it was just sounds you were making from the sex or from like, did you enjoy that experience? And you're like yelling yes, or you know what I mean? Like, are you answering the questions? It would be gray area, I guess.
Yeah.
But where I thought this was like really incredible is that because women are more open with sex toys, this could potentially mean that they can like easily adapt to the market faster. And that's what I thought was really interesting with this story and with the current state of sex toys.
I don't know.
women.
I feel like there might be, and now we're gonna go down the rabbit hole that's not really sex robots, which I want to get back to.
For sure.
But I think there might be more nuance to that. So data supports that it's harder for women to achieve a climax during sex with a
Yes.
male. And I don't think we even need data to prove that it's not very hard for men. So
yeah.
pretty good. They could do that with a grapefruit, their hand, pretty much
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah.
A guy can. There are some guys out there that don't even need the physical touch; they can just like mentally do it. So
Yeah.
so it's not hard for guys, but for women there is like a large number of women that struggle with
Absolutely.
it. Obviously, the men at home are disappointing. Sorry that that's the case for some of these women.
Yeah.
But I think that's a nuance. Also, just the size of the device, like it being like something you can fit in your purse. I think
Yeah.
it's unique that it solves a problem. That I guess what's the guy equivalent of a dildo? It's like a fleshlight.
Yeah.
The fleshlight's unnecessary, truthfully, for a lot of guys, unless you're trying to ball out and you're trying to like have like a really premium masturbation experience. Like it's not necessary, but for women, really the job a vibrator is able to accomplish is something you can't really recreate with a lot of like at-home devices or your own autonomy.
Well, the thing is too is that with women is that they're able, like just like men, right? And again, this is so funny that we're talking about this.
How qualified are we to be talking about female orgasms?
No,
too?
I know that, but technically they could use their hands as well, right?
They could. Okay, hold on. They could, but the dildo does other things. Like these vibrators.
But that's what I'm saying, right?
They vibrate at very high frequency.
But what I'm saying, yeah, you're right about that. But and again, like this is because, and I have to be vulnerable here to say it, I haven't used one of these devices personally, right? Sorry, Mom. So I can't like.
Wait. Sorry, dear mom, that you haven't used one.
Well, like I have to be open about this type of shit. Yeah. So I haven't. So at the same time, it means like what if you use it and you can't go back? Like,
okay, fair enough.
Do you know what I mean? And that might be the same thing for women.
I guess what I'm trying to say is that I think maybe there's more of a problem at the climax level for females that guys don't struggle with, which is why technology was able to solve that problem. But I think the problem has been solved. I think these devices, like women rave about them. They have parties where they all hang out, and it's like fucking Tupperware or Epicure or Scentsy. Like they're like dildo parties.
Yeah. And that's like, but the thing is too, is that that's just like, that's just one part of it. Right. And I think as things continue to evolve, like it's not like a problem is being solved. It's a problem that is continuously growing. And
sure.
I'm not going to say problem because the reason I brought this up specifically in relation to sex robots, I have my predictions of how things are going, but I think this is a necessary step moving forward.
What is a necessary step?
These types of devices.
What kind of devices?
Like the smart vibrator.
Oh, okay.
Because like Lioness, the company, right? If Liz, the CEO, decides, okay, we're now pivoting into using the same technology that is being used for teledildonics, whatever it might be, they have an insane amount of data. They have
on how to make a woman come.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's valuable data. You can sell program.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, and what it I just thought of a funny joke. It's like Lioness will literally it's like, so this is how you can make a woman orgasm. Take all this data and you just know some men's like, no, I'm not going to take it. I already know. You already know men are going to get defensive. They're going to be like, I don't need the data. They're looking both ways. No, but it's like funny because I think if they have this data, similar to how Google, similar to how Amazon can do this with marketing or advantage of platform, they can have advantage of data
for
in
sure.
this sense as well.
I think I agree with that. I do think for the next little while though, it'll be the vast majority of customers will be male.
For robots, I don't know, man. Because here's the thing: I think if we continue with the way men are right now, like I think the biggest thing that's holding back the sex robot industry is the
toxic masculinity.
Yeah, like sorry, but what's like the word to describe like what is it? Like the stigma, right? Right now the stigma behind sex robots is what's really holding the industry back because we can't get data.
Well, yeah, but I don't think. I mean, look at this, man. $30 billion. Like people buy this stuff in secret.
Yeah.
So I think.
But what I'm saying though is that split. I mean, obviously, I don't have the metrics here. If you know what they are off the top of your head, let me know. But how much is this dedicated to women? I'm just going to take a wild guess and say 2/3 of this is dedicated to women. 1/3.
Sex robots?
No, like the 30 billion sex toy.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So let's say 1/3 of that. I mean, still pretty good numbers, right? That's going to be what? That's $10 billion. Can we like also like, I hate to say it, because part of that pool of stuff is like your furry tails that you put up your ass and stuff, right? That's not necessary data that's going to get me to my $80 million sex robot market cap. I need like everyone needs to have one at their house type of vibes.
So real quick, there was a survey that was done. They polled people. 66, so 2/3 of men said they were in favor of using sex robots, while only 1/3 of women polled that they would be excited by the idea.
Okay.
So significantly less women.
Yeah.
Right. And you know what? That's my belief. I think what we're going to see is at the beginning, it'll be like a 5-to-1 ratio.
Mm-hmm.
And then at most it'll plateau between, and at the end of the day, here's why. I think what men and women want in a relationship differ. And I think men can get more of what they want with a sex companion, like an artificial intelligent companion, than women can.
But here's the thing though, is that this is where I think the big difference is. I don't know, like you're saying what men want. I think like they want the physical attraction of an actual partner. They don't necessarily want just the like, it's like both can coexist almost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm not disagreeing with that.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah. I'm just saying, there's a lot of guys out there that are looking for a partnership, and the weight is more heavily favoring sexual companionship, where when you look at like the primary things that women look for in relationships, they rank that lower typically. Yeah. They rank things like status, security, friendship, humor, above those things. So that's why I think it'll be at the end of the day, it'll be mostly a male market, sex robots, not sex toys.
Yeah.
And I think at the beginning it'll be vastly in favor of men, because it's going to be a lot of these like lonely, incel guys, that are going to be the ones funding this thing. And that's great. Those guys are going to be the people that invest in pretty important tech. So as you know, like I've obviously been really interested in this area for a long time. And I do think that there's some good that can come from this. I think so too. I think realistically, sexuality is a human right for every human, right? Like everyone needs it in their life. I mean, quite physically, right? I think they, psychologists say that they like mice or rats, right? They favor sex over shelter most of the time, right? So every human does rely on that at some point. Lee, I just have a predictions section here that I have that I'd love to read to you. I'd love to hear your input on this. Storm, you too, if you are interested.
Okay.
So I think the next 10 years will be dedicated to advancing the concepts of creating more immersive experiences for long-distance couples. So this could be using VR in conjunction with toys, which is actually being done right now, but can be much better on in the future. The pandemic kind of spiked this, I assume. This is one of the hardest part with long-distance relationships right now, obviously, is that physical connection. And with technology, you're able to complete this now. So I think this would be a really good way to kind of capture data on what people are looking for with these types of robots, because we've all seen Blade Runner 2049, we've all seen Tron. Oh, you haven't?
No.
Well, like you've seen the cyberpunk level like movies, right, where you've seen this type and we think we want it, but I don't think we know that we want this yet. I think this data is going to help prove that. Do you guys have any thoughts or opinions on my?
Yeah, I disagree.
You disagree?
Yeah. So I think what you're saying is true. Like technology will get advanced by a market of people in long distance relationships, because I think they're going to be a lot that are created in the metaverse even, right? So people meet somebody online, never met in person, need a way to be physically intimate with each other, and that technology will exist. I think the vast majority of the innovation will actually come from providing pornographic style services and products to men. So I think more of the technology around teledildonics, which for the audience is basically like the metadata that goes into the different variables that a dildo or sex device can move. So whether you're synchronizing a device to a video, or maybe you're synchronizing a device to another device somewhere across the planet. Yes. I do still think that it'll pale in comparison to the amount of men that drive the porn industry and that are looking for, and even women that are looking for very close to real sexual encounters using teledildonics and VR headsets, and buying sex companions. Period.
Yeah. And you know what? You are right there too, Lee, because I do know that even the porn industry is kind of undergoing a revolution here too. I read this in an article the other day about how women are starting to become the directors of these materials so that they can like basically fulfill a market of women trying to watch porn. Because like you said right there, it's heavily dominated by men, and like for understandable reasons. Like it basically is trying to fulfill a male fantasy, right, over a women's fantasy. So now they're flipping the switch. So once that's kind of becoming like a equal playing field, I guess you could say, I can 100% see what you're saying.
And not to get super visceral here, because obviously this is like, I don't know if the show is rated R or not, but
yeah. Well, this one's 18 plus for sure.
The
18.5 plus.
Yeah, 18.5. the audience, that was so fast, Storm.
It's so fast, man.
The audience, the audience that benefits from these like long distance relationship devices, they're usually using Bluetooth or Wi-Fi devices that are just synced to the cloud, and then there's like some motion and between the two that's translated. So there's not really a lot of opportunity for innovation in the short term that I see, but I do see a gap between what the market wants, and the market wants a device, a full body AI device that they can have relationships with, whether it's intimate or sexual or both, that is close to real. The demand for that is huge. There's so many countries where the men don't even have relationships, where there's a lot more men than women, like in China.
Yeah.
Even in Japan, like even just in our society, it's hard. Women are the choosers, which means a lot of men just don't end up getting into relationships and don't end up ever being sexually active. And I think that demand for something that's as close to the real thing as possible, that's in person, and that is, a nice experience, the demand for that is so strong right now, and we just don't see it because there's no way for the demand to show itself. But as soon as something is there that presents itself that's close, the demand will show itself, and I think it'll blow all of our minds, and I think that will drive innovation in like an exponential curve.
When do you think, though, this is going to be like, because I basically wrote what you said right there, like a 2045 or 2040 to 2045. But however, I did think that I don't think people are going to want to get into relationships with their AI until much later, like much, much later. So I said here, 2040 to 2045, robots with AI will be more universally seen as normal. Robots will be made specifically for aiding people with like sex. And then although most people won't own these robots, more like of these brothels will open up where men and women will be able to safely enter. So now I thought this because similar to like how kind of like any business structure works, right? A business buys a lot of these, robots for however, like let's say they're $50,000 a piece or something like that.
Yep.
And then they charge to use them on the thing.
By the hour, by 15-minute intervals maybe.
Yeah. But what I'm thinking here is like what's interesting here is that from a legal perspective, how does that work? Like, because like, so prostitution, it's actually, I mean, technically it is legal here in Canada, but like, let's say for generally speaking, it's illegal. That's just human to human, right? Would you be able to go into like
100%. It would be immediately legal. There's no question about it.
It would be immediately legal?
Yeah, there's no like triggering or previous law that would. So
if I create like,
it's not sex work. Like there's no sex worker. So like you're a customer.
But what I mean though is that if I set up a store and all there was is that like there's like four flashlights like just taped to the wall, right?
Yeah.
And again, this is vulgar. I'm so sorry, but like you saying that's like
legal business.
That's legal. That's a legal business.
It's legal business.
I don't know if that is.
Yeah, because like why? I think right now in Canada, it's actually prostitution is not legal for men to or women to purchase, but if you get caught doing it, it's not criminalized. So it's like a weird like gray area. So like
public masturbation would be illegal though, no?
No, but if it was in a private room, yeah, of course that would be illegal for sure.
But it's technically, but I mean it's in public.
No,
right?
No.
Like how do you define it?
Well, hold on. Like if you masturbate in a hotel room, is that illegal? right?
Perhaps.
So like if I made a hotel, and
Cops kick
hold
down
on,
the door.
hold on. If I have a hotel room,
Yeah.
and in that hotel I have a charge, an extra $50 per room, and I leave a sex device in that room, is that illegal?
Probably
If
not.
it's cleaned, and if it's hygienic, and if it's safe, and we maybe pass regulatory stuff, 100% it's legal.
Actually, here's the thing too. Doesn't like the like there's a spot in our city, Adult Connection. Isn't there like a private movie theater in there?
What?
There's like a private screening in there. Like you can watch a movie in there.
Porn.
Well,
Like just a preview porn.
well, not Beauty and the Beast.
Well,
Well,
they
maybe.
have that.
Yeah.
Beauty and the Beast 2.
Beauty and the Feast. Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, no, it's like, so it might, either way, I think what they'll do is, in order to be a bit more safe, and be a bit more just like safer for everyone in this purpose, they might have these more friendly. But I think the stigma is still going to be there, and I think one of the biggest things that need to go through is not the technological change, because you're right. Like right now we have the technology available that even like somewhat works. It's mostly the societal change. If you had a sex robot in your closet, right, you would think, and people would think you're a loner or a pervert or disgusting, right? Meanwhile, women, they've already avoided that. They've already passed that stigma, right?
You know what's interesting? TVs, in a way, computers have been porn devices for a long time. But when someone comes into your house and they see your TV or your computer, they don't go, "Oh, why does he have a porn device?"
That never had that stigma.
No, I know.
No.
Here's what I'm saying.
Okay.
I'm going somewhere with this. It's when robots become a household item and everyone's got a robot in the house, and the sexual functionality just becomes an application of the robot, then it'll open it wide open. Like right now, if someone's like, "Oh, you have one of those in your closet," that's weird.
Yeah.
Versus like when we think about the other devices that have always been fine, is because they have multiple uses.
So you're saying like when it's able to do other things like
When-
around your house
Yeah,
or something.
when we've got she's also the nanny for the kids, and she watches the kids outside, and she helps me with the yard work and brings the groceries in from the car, and she's a utility, and then it's like an app on the app store that I can buy that turns her into a freak.
No,
What do you mean?
I think they'll always keep.
Them separate?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, because also
don't
too,
know.
you have to buy you're telling
yeah,
me the robot like comes with it, and
True.
and people haven't like thought that was
But,
sus
like,
already.
Yeah, but
Comes
like,
with
what if it's just like
Comes with
what if it's just like a hardware it's like modular design? So like you get like a Tesla bot, and then there's just like a retrofit you could do. It's all under the clothes. Like no one's checking underneath your robot's skirt. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know. I think no matter what, that's like there's still like the stigma, right? And
Yeah.
that's some that men have, is that we have the stigma that anything like sexual, right, that can emasculate us is considered bad, right? Like completely. And that's something that I think a lot of men are gonna struggle to get over, and that's where I am like really
I
curious
don't
how
know.
they're gonna do
I don't
that.
think they will. Honestly,
You
I
don't
don't think
think so?
No, I don't think they will.
Why not?
I just don't think they will. I think they literally will. Once the price gets to an affordable place, it'll by the time it comes around, it'll be so destigmatized by the market.
But like, how does it get destigmatized though? That doesn't just happen. That's what I mean.
So my opinion, is probably that if there's enough. So basically, if so many people want to buy it, but they feel embarrassed to buy it, they'll find a way. That's my thinking. And even if it's the market going, hey, we know that if we can change public sentiment by 10% on male sex robots or sex robots for male customers, then they will literally go spend the money to put scenes in movies, to put sex dolls in music videos, and they will spend the money to make it less stigmatized because they want people to buy it because there's a capital incentive.
But I mean, but that's the issue though, is that we're talking about like a deep rooted issue, right?
I don't think so.
Oh,
No.
absolutely. We're talking about like patriarchy and shit, dude.
No, I'm saying like this mostly cultural. Like I think if in another culture they could be totally okay and can be done.
No,
I
but
don't
it's
think
like
I don't think you grow up going.
It's everywhere though. Everywhere is kind of like suffering from this type of like patriarchal kind of like thinking, right?
So wait, so the idea that as a guy it's not cool to have a sex robot. You don't think that that's going to be easy to shatter that?
No, I don't think it's
I
gonna be
disagree.
easy.
We'll guess we'll have to find out. But
Yeah.
I think if there's enough demand, so like I know what the demand for sex period is, because the pornography industry is a huge meter for that.
We also all have it. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And then I know what the market for sex robots has been so far, and what the customer base looks like, and who's been motivated, who's invested in these things as a consumer or an investor. I think the fact that some customers might want it but feel like it's a bit weird, if there's so many people that share that sentiment, I don't think it'll last. I think it will be very quickly, as soon as it becomes, like right now, it's not affordable for anybody. Like it's so expensive.
Definitely not. It's very expensive.
And to go that far out of your way, you'd have to be, a very unique individual. But once it becomes cheaper than going outside, like think about, we have 2 strip clubs in our town.
Yeah.
People park their car. People are seen there by the waitresses and stuff. Like people are out there, participating in that publicly.
But I mean, there's also a difference in that too, though.
There is. I understand that. But I'm just saying, if it's in your own home and you can order it on Amazon and you're a single guy and you can put it in your closet and no one really needs to know, and even if they do, you're like more comfortable with it because it's kind of funny, and it's like, and it can, I think those cultural things can be broken down if a market feels like they need to. So if there's like enough people that can make money off of this stigma going away, they will pay that away, is my opinion. I guess I could be wrong. I could be wrong.
I think it's just like
people are easy to influence.
It's just for sure, but like we have such a deep rooted history with this type of stuff that it's like, this is not like, even if we look at other stuff like racism or homophobia, even that stuff, like,
I don't
it's
know
much
if I put
better.
this in the same category. I mean, maybe the reason I can't relate is because if I was single right now, I would have no shame having a sex robot.
Are you serious?
Literally zero.
Oh, I would be so humiliated if I like.
So maybe that's why you and me are like not agreeing.
Oh,
here.
for sure.
So like, here's the thing: it's like if I have no shame in showing you that the porn I watch, like what is more fucking lame than jacking off? You know what I mean? Like
Because you spent $30,000 for
no.
an advanced
But
jerk
hold on.
off machine.
Hold on. We just talked about. I'm saying if it only cost me, like if I finance it like $100 a month for a year.
So you think it's gonna cost $1,200 for one of these things?
100%.
Bro, it's not gonna cost $1,200. It only costs $1,200 like a month.
No, it'll cost.
Dude, a robot? Dude, you can't even get an Amazon Astro for $1,200.
Dude, I'm talking about.
You cannot do anything with that.
I'm talking about economies of scale. I'm talking about a hardware device that's got that's a super sticky direct-to-consumer product that can then. Damn.
You did that on purpose.
No, I didn't do that on purpose. Super sticky direct-to-consumer product that once in your household, you can continue to accessorize. You can buy upgrades. You can change the voice. You can change. Maybe you pay for programming. There's a ton of opportunity. I think it will literally come in under. I mean, adjust for inflation, but what today costs $1,500. That's the price range I think it can come in.
I don't think that's true at all. I don't think it's going to cost $1,500. But I mean, again, that's something that we can't really debate about because we'll just have to find out. I personally think, I think maybe that's where our is in, like, although I do wish this kind of stigma was shattered because I am not a fan of it whatsoever.
What is so expensive about a sex robot?
What is so expensive about it?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it just depends on the type of technology you want in it, right? Like, AI is expensive. Hosting, like cloud, like hosting data is expensive, but even just the parts in it itself, like if we take an Amazon Astro, that thing needs sensors, that needs, and we're talking about Amazon distributing this. This is one of the most competitive businesses of all time. They are releasing a robot that's $1,500, I believe it was, for an Amazon Astro, a simple robot, like basically a vacuum on wheels almost. So now we have to talk about something else. We have to talk about.
So you don't even think $3,000?
I think it'd be more expensive with that. I think $3,000. I mean, here's the thing, okay? It might be $3,000, kind of like a Peloton model where it's like $3,000, but you have to buy like $100 a month subscription. But that's expensive as hell.
I mean, porn subscriptions are like $20 a month.
Yeah, if you're paying that.
Yeah, but some people do. I mean,
yeah, but what I'm saying is some people, but
somebody out there is paying for all the porn that people watch for free.
Yes,
someone's paying for it.
And you can't tell me, because listen here, man. So tell me this, Heerly, okay, and be honest with me, because this is obviously funny. If a friend in our friend group came, just flexed in the group chat, said, just bought this new subscription for $350 a month, and it's a sex toy, would you not think that's like, you're telling me that you're like,
Literally, bro, on my children, I would be thinking if as long as they had that money to at their disposal. If they were like really broke and not in the position to do that.
Well, yeah, okay, but like what I'm saying is that like
if they had
you
had
would
a ton of
definitely
money,
feel things. You like
no, I would literally not.
Yeah, you would. You'd
No,
be like,
I'm telling you, Lewis, I don't
what
have
you
these
would-
deep-rooted patriarchal. Like, dude, I literally, if one of the homies was single and got a subscription, it cost $350 a month, but they got a sex robot, I'd be like, sweet, good for you, man.
what if it was just a sex toy?
I mean, I would say that's kind of a ripoff, but if take away the price, like I would not care.
But that's what I'm saying. I think we're not in this in this situation, so we don't really understand it.
Yeah, I mean, maybe. I'm more optimistic than you are that will be the
Hey,
market.
fair enough. I'll take that.
What's your prediction, Storm?
When sex robots was put on the docket for today, and this might just speak to the character of the three of us, I thought it was a 4-minute conversation, but Lee and Lewis go the distance with this topic. So I think we've put in a good amount of time. Speaking about Amazon, unless you guys have...
Do you want to move on? Like, I'm cool to go to, because I actually thought that was the last subject.
No.
I was wondering too, because like Lewis is kind of rolling with it a lot. I was like,
So speaking of Amazon, who's making these robots, and speaking of customizable voices for these robots.
Speaking of artificial intelligent voices that are almost real, this pretty creepy thing went down. An Amazon senior vice president was at a conference, and he demoed this Amazon Alexa tool. And basically, Amazon wants to let you speak to dead relatives through Alexa.
Oh.
Yeah, so basically this is how it works. They're able to listen to a few minutes, I think, of audio of any person, and then Alexa is able to then take that data and then mimic the voice of that person. So hypothetically, you could play audio of any member of your family, whether they're dead or alive, and then in the demo they said Alexa, please read, and I think she read like a story. I can't remember the name of the book that she read, but she literally read the book to her like grandson in grandma's voice. So kind of creepy, but also kind of cool. And I like how technology is helping preserve people that have passed away. We talked on the podcast before about VR video, filming like a dinner.
Yeah.
With a bunch of family members and maybe a grandma that was getting sick or getting old, or maybe she's just taking these memories for the future, and then being able to put the headset on and go back to the past and experience it through VR. Through voice, that's really, really cool because it's new things. Cool, they're not recordings; they're new. It's new audio. Things for the first time that you're hearing.
I liked when Kanye West did the hologram of Kim Kardashian's dad, and like I don't know if he used like some sort of voice recorder or got like an imitator. But have you ever seen that?
No, I haven't.
Oh, like he got the hologram technology that they did for Tupac or whatever it is, and for Kim Kardashian's birthday, there was like maybe like a 2-minute clip of Kim Kardashian's dad, Rob Kardashian. Is that what it is?
Yep.
Rob Kardashian just saying, "Hey Kim, like I'm watching you from above. I'm so very proud of everything that you've been doing, etc." Like stuff that Kanye West is really good at that kind of stuff, right?
So that was okay, I guess. But the best part about it is that he had her dead dad talk about how great Kanye is.
Are you serious?
Wait, really?
There's part of the video, and he goes, I'm not even joking. This is like pretty much a quote. He says, and we can look it up, but he says, "And you're married to the most amazing person in the whole wide world." Like that kind of shit. Or the most genius man in the world. So he channels her dead dad to tell him.
That must have been a bit cringe for Kim.
Yeah.
She left him shortly after.
that was it.
I'm serious. Like shortly after, there's when yeah.
But I think that could be used for good. I mean, but of course, there's the bad that can happen, deep fakes, etc. But I do think that the concept of it is a really cool idea.
And the concept's not new either. So the technology that's behind Amazon mimicking people's voices is just basically taking a voice and the cadences, the nuances about the speech, the way that the patterns of speech, and analyzing those frequencies as sound and then recreating them. There's tools out there right now where if we were doing the podcast or a voiceover and then I made a mistake. So I said and thank you for subscribing. You're our 300th subscriber. And it was supposed to be 400th. There's software out there where you can take the 300 and change it to 400 and it will use my voice. Yeah. And it will sound seamless. Yeah. And then there's also
even open source software that does that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And so the technology behind analyzing audio and then being able to recreate speech is not new.
No.
And I think it'll be huge for things like voiceovers. I think Imagine hiring somebody to talk for 5 minutes and then just having their voice forever.
Oh yeah.
What does that do to the voiceover market?
Serious question. Can we take Morgan Freeman recordings and then profit off of it using his voice for...
I'm not sure what the rules are.
Even in some open source projects, they do that. They take Morgan Freeman, maybe him specifically, because he is like iconic for his voice. They take his voice, and it's like text to speech. Of course, it's not like I could tell it's like a voice robot, right? But it's like if it's getting better and better and better, eventually it's gonna get.
When it gets so good, like we would use that in our ads. Like we're running an ad for a small business. Like why not use Morgan Freeman's voice? Because that disruption, like when someone hears the voice, like they're gonna pay attention. Now,
so you can't patent your voice, can you? That way?
I don't know.
Because impersonators could do your voice pretty close, right? Like or something. I don't know.
I think there's like if you want to claim it's Morgan Freeman,
Then
and,
it's
like,
an issue.
and then maybe as well too, if it's like Morgan Freeman saying, I just love the taste of Coke or something like that, right? Then I think there's some legal issue there because you're trying to imitate his voice and then advertise your product. So therefore, like the connections there.
But even then, I don't even know. As long as it's not saying I'm Morgan Freeman and I love the taste of Coke, it might be fine because it's just a voice, it's just a sound. And like hypothetically, an impersonator could have done a close to Morgan Freeman voice, like off the record.
Two people can be named Morgan Freeman, so maybe even can say,
yeah, he's also more. Oh yeah, true.
I'm also Morgan Freeman.
But you know what? I definitely think they have laws about this, you know, because like this is something that is catching up real quick, even like with deepfakes, right?
Yeah.
You can say like, oh, I'm like, you know how Elon Musk, there's like Elon Musk and then there's the Chinese Elon Musk.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, that's not Elon Musk, that's the Chinese Elon Musk on my deepfake, right? And then like, what, did you just fake news everybody and get away with it? Like there's definitely some sort of way of doing it.
Yeah, we'll have to figure it out once it gets that good because I definitely want to create some ads with it.
Yeah,
but
very meta.
So speaking of shit that's totally fake, this isn't Rice Krispies, but it's actually CRISPR rice.
Wow, nice.
Nice.
Yes.
Yeah. So this is so CRISPR. If you guys don't know, it's actually it's a publicly traded company that has this patented tech to edit genes. I actually got into the stock at nearly twice the price it is right now, so that's not really great. But it is what it is. It's a great company, and I do believe in it. And researchers have received $11 million in funding from the Chan Zuckerberg Foundation or Initiative. For those of you that don't know, that's Facebook's founder and his wife, and money that they donate to good causes. And they're doing this to help fund research to create gene-edited rice that could fight climate change by trapping carbon dioxide in soil. So basically, the company, the organization, the researcher, they seem to believe that they can do a few things to rice. They can make the rice better at photosynthesis, so it absorbs more carbon, have longer roots so that it can embed the carbon deeper into the soil, and then they can also modify the soil. And I think by modifying soil, I think they mean mostly the microbiome, so that it holds on to more carbon. So they're trying to turn like something that's awesome, which is like growing food, which we all need to do and need to do more of because the world's running out right now, and turn that into a carbon fighting activity. And agriculture is a huge carbon contributor, mostly the animal husbandry part of it, but agriculture definitely is not good for the environment. So doing this is kind of cool. $11 million is a lot of money. I guess the one takeaway I'll say before, because I do have some criticisms, but the optimistic side of me is this is what I'll say. Pretty much all the organisms on this planet, actually all of them, have evolved perfectly in alignment with this like environment that we've been in. And what we don't realize is that there's like insane possibilities that are inside all of our genes. They're just dormant, right? And if you look at dogs, like all of them have evolved over the last 30 to 50,000 years from wolves, and they are like tons of different shapes and sizes, and they're totally unique. They have totally different traits.
Is that the new Jenner baby's name then?
Wolf.
Yeah.
Dog.
Evolved from wolf.
Pug. Yeah, literally. They all evolved from wolves. And when you look at that, you look at when you look at a wolf, you don't realize that inside of a wolf you can unlock a pug or a chihuahua or a poodle or whatever. And it's because, all of our genes, they just have so much potential, but we accumulate like a crowd around a certain outcome. And that's what humans have done. Even though like you and I look different, like I'm dark and you're light, we're like very, very similar. But we could be very, very different from each other.
Yeah.
But it just didn't make sense. We didn't evolve that way. Humans didn't evolve that way. The differences that we do have, we evolved just because, my ancestors evolved in a different side of the planet than you. So thinking about that, all of the things around us, the trees, the plants, the grass, the rice, they all have potential. And I don't want to go around editing animals and living things, but plants, like editing the genes of all the things around us to make them better and more productive sounds like a really cool future. Like, just imagine we could create trees that create wood faster, and you can chop them down and they grow back. Or if we could create bees that don't sting, that's probably kind of fucked. You probably shouldn't fuck with the bees.
Yeah.
But all these ideas about just starting to mess with the world and nature, and not no longer Mother Nature, but like human nature is the driving force of technology. That's pretty crazy future.
It is nuts. I wonder. I think that's really cool. I mean, obviously a bit scary thinking, right? Like, it's kind of like with great power comes great responsibility, right? Spider-Man, Tobey Maguire.
Yeah.
Because that is huge to be able to do that type of stuff. Getting rid of mosquitoes once and for all. The world's most deadliest animal, right? Like, I don't know.
You gotta be so careful, though. That's right.
Yes, that is so careful. Yeah.
Because mosquitoes specifically, the reason that they suck so much is because they spread so much illness. So could you imagine you like gene edit a mosquito thinking you're going to destroy them, but then they just like spread a horrible illness to everybody?
Yeah.
You gotta be careful.
He said mosquitoes suck. That's funny.
Yeah,
Oh,
true.
Nice.
So quick. The thing is about the great power and the great responsibility thing is that, coincidentally and nicely, is that you don't really get great power with CRISPR. You make really slow progress, and the biggest actual bottleneck today is that we don't know what the genes are. So just imagine like you're in a room, you're in a control room, and there are like literally tens of thousands, maybe millions of switches in this room, and you only have labels on a few of them, and it's like blue eyes or brown eyes, or it's tall or short, or it's smart or not. But like there are switches that we don't even know we don't know.
Yeah.
Like humans having fins or some shit fucked. You know what I mean?
Breathing underwater.
Like, there's things that we don't even know that could exist in our that are just dormant in our genes, simply because it's impossible to track them. Because what we do right now to find, what genes mean what is, well, here's an example. I have dark skin. When they analyze the genes of people with dark skin, it's easy to find, this is the one that they all have in common. So that's got to be it. Same thing with people that are tall or blue eyes, et cetera, et cetera. But the things that we don't know, how do we cross-reference those? Yeah. So the great power is kind of there, but we just don't have the visibility to do the editing yet.
For sure.
So I don't know how we do that ethically. Like, do we start growing humans that we just start editing their genes and just like almost like when you go into a house for the first time, like an Airbnb, and there's like 10 switches, and you just like have to just turn them all on and off to figure out like what lights go where. Yeah. Like, could we do that to that's like not really ethical.
No. Well, I mean, and that's kind of what's going on already right now, right? Like with the whole like what ends up happening if I had the ability to make my baby anything I wanted it to be, all the genes I wanted it to be, right? Well, like that's where you run into issues. That's almost some Nazi shit.
Designer babies, that's a thing, right?
Did
we talk about that?
We talked about designer babies, and kind of like the separation it's going to create between the classes.
Oh, absolutely.
But this isn't agriculture. This is not humans. This is us making the world around us better, and maybe worse, because usually better is a bumpy road. It's not straight up. It's like the stock market. Like, there's times where there'll be failures and misses, but I think
this for specifically is a much better example of gene editing, because it allows, like, more food is never a bad thing. Well, I mean, I guess it can be, but like, I think in the context that we're talking about, like, more food is going to be good. We can feed more people.
Yes.
And to me, that's always better.
Now, the one thing is, what they're trying to edit about the thing is something that it's already evolved to do. So they're not trying to make it more nutritious for humans, which is what a lot of GMO veggies do. They're trying to make it better at photosynthesis and better at, which is like the rice has already been as good as possible at taking the sun and the energy from the sun and doing photosynthesis. So I don't know if there's $11 million worth of value to create in optimizing that. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's like trying to make evolve humans to want to have sex more. It's like, listen, they already want to have sex too much. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like this rice already is really good at that. How much can we really unlock? How much more carbon can it store? I don't know.
All right, Lee, let's rewind.
What you got for us, Lewis?
So on July 1st, Canada Day, for those who don't know, on July 1st, 1979, Sony introduced the Sony Walkman to the world. Have you ever had a Sony Walkman before?
I never had a Walkman.
I actually never had either, but
We're too young.
I did.
We are too young.
I did.
You did?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but you probably, was it like your older sisters or like
No.
cousins or
I'm
something?
the oldest sibling. No. Yeah.
And you bought one,
I was
or was it
Gift-
like a hand me
gifted
down?
one.
You were gifted one.
Okay.
like for Christmas or whatever.
How old were
Oh.
you?
I remember having it on the bus in like grade 2.
You know
3,
what? He's
4.
in a more affluent neighborhood and stuff, and probably we were at the time. So
Mhm.
Oh, you think that was like a rich kid thing was to have?
a Walkman for
Walkman?
sure.
A Walkman?
I mean, at the
No.
time, how expensive were Walkmans?
Not expensive.
I think
Like
it was a cheap thing, but
like when you
Yeah.
were like, how old were you in grade 2? Like iPods would have been
Eight.
out by then.
wait,
Oh, so he got a Walkman like not when it was like at the cusp.
no, I probably
Oh
just
no.
no, I got it way after. Maybe it was just me.
Oh,
Yeah.
then it probably was just cheap then, because if they came
I
out
think
in
it was really
1980, pretty much,
So
you would have been like they would have been out for like 30 years by the time you got
Oh
one.
yeah.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Oh yeah. The Sony Walkman was able to play cassette tapes in a portable device with great quality while you're on the go.
Oh wait, I was thinking it was a CD player one.
It was so the Walkman like name, like it was even given to like a digital version of the of like
The device.
of the device, yeah. But so the Walkman was just a brand name asset, but this kind of what originally came out, it was a cassette player. So executives at Sony thought this was a silly idea since it was only able to do playback and not recording. So people never saw the potential of like just actually listening to recordings. They were just
That's fucked up.
yeah.
The idea that Sony, which is like a huge music label, like entertainment company,
Yeah.
technology company, thought it was a silly idea for people to be able to just listen only.
Yeah.
That's
Isn't that,
cr- man,
isn't that
that
crazy? Like
just
someone
shows you how-
doesn't listen, just to listen to something, right?
Yeah.
That so I got an interesting question about this one in a bit here. However, they pushed through with the idea and they were able to develop it in only 4 months. The rest of the story is history, and people became addicted ever since. So I have a question here, Lee. What was more impactful, this or the iPod?
Probably both of them had their own.
They both have
level
the
of
reasons.
impact.
My answer,
Go ahead.
just maybe it'll make sense to you. I thought that tidbit with the playback, that's one. I think the Walkman is more influential in that case because it made you really think like, wow, like listening to things. We're listening to things all the time, AirPods, whatever. But I like that is to say though the iPod kind of revolutionized
Yeah.
like the listening style that we do now.
So I think the idea of the Walkman was more influential than the idea of the iPod,
Mhm.
but the influence of the iPod was more
Yeah.
influential than the influence of the Walkman. Because I think that you're right. The idea that, even just being able to take a portable device and walk around and still listen to music. You don't have to
Yeah.
sit. You can leave the room. You can go for a walk outside and you can listen to music. That idea was novel at the time. So that's crazy because that's like, think about everyone that listens to a podcast on their commute to work.
Mhm.
Like, did that all start from Sony's Walkman?
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy.
But
But-
absolutely nuts.
But the iPod, as a device, like significantly more impactful on,
Yeah.
on society than.
For sure. Yeah. Cool. How about you, Storm? What do you think?
Yeah, it's like chicken before the egg kind of thing.
Yeah.
But
And then they had a digital version of it too, eh?
It didn't succeed. Like, I mean, as soon as iPod took the market there, like they ran with it. Like
I
they
feel like
owned
there.
it.
I feel like there's like potential for like a physical device like that again.
like Kanye's.
Yeah, I liked Kanye's, but one that like, I don't know, like had a certain amount of space on it, and it was wireless though. So like you could, how my Apple Watch, I can save songs to my Apple Watch
Yeah.
from my iTunes or my Spotify, and I can take them on the go, but no interruptions, nothing like that. I think a device that's like kind of like a Walkman retro style that like can like connect through like a smart tech with, or it's like through like whatever with your iPhone or
Yeah.
your Samsung device or whatever, and then you can like put songs on it, and it's like only gonna let you put like full albums, no single songs,
Yeah.
and you get to pick up to 10 albums at a time.
That would be a pretty cool idea.
That'd be
'cause-
kind of cool.
Well, because you're 100% right, man. It's like the thing, especially with TikTok and such. Like people are finding huge identities with the music that they listen to. So if I had like a Walkman player and maybe had a specialized like tape in there, like with like maybe like a Travis Scott artwork that was exclusive to that, it would make it seem like, oh, that's a Travis Scott fan. Like I'm a huge Travis Scott fan.
Imagine a device. I think people like to collect things, right? So imagine like a device where there's like little like SD card style albums that you can get, like a
Yeah.
Nintendo Switch games, and you can just put them in this thing, and you can hold up to like 10 at a time, and then like you can just buy albums like that and pop them in there. Like I don't know,
And
go back to the analog.
it's really popular right now too with like Stranger Things, right? Like Stranger Things, season 4. If anyone's seen it, you guys both seen it? Stranger Things, no. You've
I've
seen
seen
Stranger
it.
season
Yeah.
4. If you've seen season 4, no spoilers. So, but Max is always wearing the Walkman on her head, right?
Yeah, listening to music.
listening to that one song, and that song went to number 1.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's very interesting to see. So, good idea. Maybe we can take it.
You know what? One last thing to add to this: if there was a device that like the labels and like the music industry like created, and it had a proprietary like type of physical chip,
Yeah.
couldn't they fight piracy a bit with that? I guess not. No, because like you could just find a way to plug that into
Yeah.
the computer, then record it that way.
Proprietary never works,
Yeah.
you know?
Impossible.
For DS games, did you guys ever have the R4 or whatever it was
Oh,
called?
yeah.
What's
So
that?
it was like you could load up like 60
like a
games
bunch
on
of
it,
games on an
and
SD
then it just
card?
fit into your DS, right?
Yeah.
So they would just do the same.
Yeah.
They had a proprietary like chip that they put the game on, but like, like it just gets busted so fast, right?
Yeah. Unless they did here and again, this is kind of silly, but unless they made a machine that you could put the albums, like let's say the Weeknd's new album, you get a little chip. It's got a little Weeknd face on it. You plug it in, and then there's no aux out. There's no audio out. It literally just goes right to a connection to a headphone. That's proprietary that you can put on your head and listen to the song. There's no like.
But what I'm saying is that there's people who will reverse engineer it no matter what, right?
Could they though?
Oh, absolutely. Like GeoHots, he like the iPhone came out for like 2 minutes. It was like jailbreak proof, right? That's what they said like about the iPhone 4
yeah.
or something. He broke it in like 2 hours or something, right?
Yeah.
It's
They
like
always find a way.
they find a way, and then you just end up screwing the consumers over more, right?
Yeah.
That's just kind of it. But anyway, speaking of
batteries and old devices,
What do you got for us?
usually we don't transition to the meme like that. We
Yeah.
just kind of say meme time. But
I love meme time. Meme time is one of my favorite times.
so
What do you got for us, Storm?
it's a tweet. It says the first line of dialogue says sex doll. I just think it's funny how, and before it shows it says me, and it shows me taking out the batteries out of the device.
I mean, what does it tell you about the audience?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
We talked about that earlier, like who's the audience for the sex doll right now? And I know this is a guy that posted this, but
Yeah.
that's really fun. I just think it's funny how the battery gets pulled.
That's a good meme, Storm.
Has
Good
your
meme.
girlfriend ever said this before, Lewis?
I just think it's funny how, of course, every man has heard that line. Like that was at 6 word sentence before.
I just think it's funny how. Yeah, Kale says that sometimes too. Not all the time, but
Yeah.
do I say it sometimes?
Oh, we definitely say it. I think it's funny how
I
blank.
just think it's funny how. Yeah, maybe it's both.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It definitely is a both thing, but it's more so like it's funny to hear it from our end, right?
yeah.
Because like I feel like for me, I think the joke is that you're like constantly trying to get them like what's wrong, nothing, right? It's like kind of like that communication jump you have to go through, and then it's like, all right, nothing's wrong, fine, and then you just like sit in silence, and then I just think it's funny how and then
Yeah.
like that's their way, yeah. So men are bad for it too, though.
Yeah, but the sex doll, it doesn't get to do that.
Nope, you unplug it.
But a Duracell battery, I feel like this needs to be like wirelessly charged, plugging into the wall.
Yeah, I also love too that there's like a little speaker. Like, see how it's like there's a big, a tiny, like this looks like the bottom of like a food scale or something.
Yeah.
So,
It's the robot butt.
Yeah, I feel like it's not an actual sex robot. No.
Yeah.
well,
Good meme.
yeah, good meme. And yeah, well, why don't you take us out here, Lee?
All right. Well, thanks everybody for listening to episode 18.5. Again, apologies. 18 was pretty good, and it's gone forever. So
Yeah.
You'll never get to hear it.
there's
Nope,
actually
never.
there was a part where Storm was saying ice cream as if he was saying ice cream while having sex.
No, while using a bidet.
Oh shit, my bad.
No,
Maybe
yeah,
cut
But
that
it all
out.
made sense contextually.
Yeah.
Yeah, to be there.
And it was completely a riot. But maybe it was deleted for the best. Maybe that was
For the
fate.
best.
But thank you so much for listening. Don't forget to give us a review anywhere you listen. We really appreciate it. And you can follow us to see our short form content on TikTok, Instagram for Reels, and YouTube Shorts. And stay tuned for the Faster Forward next episode because we're going to skip it this time.
Yeah.
Because it's Canada Day weekend. And this is all you're getting from us. So have a great Canada Day if you're in Canada. If you're in the States, have a great
Independence Day.
4th of July. Barbecue some burgers. Have fun with the fam.
Yeah.
Stay safe. Don't drink and drive.
Some GMO rice.
Yeah. And have a great day, everyone.
We'll see you next week.